Thank you, Deputy Speaker, sir. Since this government took office in December 2014, the House will recall that this is its sixth Grand Oral, all of them with great titles. We have had Achieving Meaningful Change, Mauritius at the Crossroad, on Achieving the Second Economic Miracle and Vision 2030, a new era of development, rising to the challenge of our ambitions, and this year's budget is titled Pursuing Our Transformative Journey. Now, from a bird's eye view, when you look at all the above titles, avec du recul, already you find a total disconnect between them, as if the population is being perpetually made to dream anew each time, made to dream anew each time, with all these mesmerizing titles. But, Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to remind the House and the population that this government, the LEPEP government, was elected on the basis of a dream it has sold to the population, that it will bring about a second economic miracle. I have listened to the discourse of the Minister of Finance last Thursday, and not a single time have I heard the word economic miracle. Not even the word miracle either was to be heard from his speech. But dream there is many of them. And adding to this, if I may quote what the Honourable Minister Mentor, on whose shoulders as first Prime Minister of the LEPEP government rested, the delivery of the promise of the so-called second economic miracle, well, he said the following, Deputy Speaker, sir, when he was asked about his impression on the budget last Thursday night. Qui commentaire me peut le faire? Meaning, what do you want me to say about this budget? I think the message is clear. Minister Mentor. The Minister Mentor said that. Qui commentaire me peut le faire de sa budget là? Now, the promised economic miracle did not happen. In fact, it is the exact contrary that is happening. Debt has reached record level high. We know the figures now. And they came to daylight after I had asked 3 consecutive questions on 8th of May 2018 to the Honourable Prime Minister. Declining foreign direct investment is the order of the day. High unemployment rates with only civil service recruiting is also a reality. Ever-increasing cost of living, increasing number of deaths on our roads, and our roads which are getting jammed with each passing day. Jam further. Crime is on the rise, and so is drug addiction, of the worst kind, and that is synthetic drug, the proliferation of which has been rampant with this government. The physical environment has deteriorated. And here, Deputy Speaker, sir, please allow me to make a parenthèse. Much has been said during the debates on the supplementary appropriation bill this morning about the National Energy Commission, more specifically about the former Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam, not chairing the commission. I wish to remind the House that in reply to the Honourable Sudan, in PQB 168 of 2008, Dr. Ramgoolam had already explained that it had put in place Maurice Iljurab with the vision of making Mauritius a sustainable island. I chaired the Maurice Iljurab Commission, the bilan for which I have already tabled here in Parliament. Now, it is this government that has destroyed cet élan de développement durable, much has been said earlier, that was created simply because the name Maurice Iljurab is associated with Dr. Navin Chandra Ramgoolam and myself, meanwhile having become politician. Where is the Commission for Sustainable Development for Mauritius. Every country has got one. Where is the one for Mauritius? We don't have one now. And we are talking about sustainable development. Who is championing environmental stewardship? The Honorable Etienne Sinatambu. I invite the House to read an article of young Alexandre Laridon, whom on Environment Day wrote the following in Le Mauricien. De Maurice Île Durable à Maurice Île Poubelle. And members, if they read, will have an idea how the physical environment of our country has deteriorated since the general elections of 2014. What has the government done for the Sustainable Development Agenda that it has destroyed can never be forgotten nor forgiven. On 4th of April this year, the Honorable Bhagwan had asked a question to the Honorable Prime Minister about when did the National Environment Commission last met since the general election of 2014. No answer has been tabled yet at the Hansard. I went to check. I hope that we will get an answer to this question. Otherwise, I shall be compelled to believe that the Honorable Prime Minister has chaired the National Energy Commission only once, and that also after the Honorable Bhagwan has asked that question. I hope he comes clean on this one. Otherwise, I will have no other choice than to say that what has been said this morning is pure enfumage. Now, Deputy Speaker, sir, it has been reported in the press, here it is, 41,5% des mesures annoncées l'année dernière attendent leur implémentation. Now, there are ministries that have implemented only one measure. Would you believe? And they are considered the worst performers. And many of them, the Honorable Jahangir, were so highly praising last night. We have the first position, the Ministry of Financial Services, Ministry of Social Security, Ministry of Social Integration, Attorney General's Office. I was quite surprised about this one. I think the press had forgotten about the Ministry of Ocean Economy, but I think his name, the name of that ministry doesn't appear on the article. But I think we all know that it is there as well, among the worst performers.
Unclassified.
Even the Honorable Jalangir mentioned about that yesterday.
Unclassified. You can't get worse than that.
I think the press article. So if the population wants to know what has become of the dream that was sold to it, if the population needs an update on the prospect of the second economic miracle, can there be, Deputy Speaker, sir, a more compelling aveu d'échec than what I've just said? Now, Deputy Speaker, sir, I now swiftly moved to some specific measures that have baffled me, and many others, I suppose. The first one is the section that deals with further opening up of our economy and country of paragraphs 107 and 108 of the budget speech, wherein foreigners can now buy Mauritian citizenship or Mauritian passport at a cost of US $1 million and $500 million respectively. Now, why would Mauritius need to sell its nationality? I wonder if the government has looked into the implications of this very controversial measure. A simple search on the internet revealed that countries that have tried this have also opened up the gate to optimisation fiscale. And this is the worrisome part, Deputy Speaker, sir. Are we prepared for this transition? And above all, is this transition all good for us when we know that Mauritius' international reputation took a serious knocking, with the country having been named and shamed in various tax dodging scandals and leaks, including the Paradise Papers, which explain how black money comes to Mauritius. Does the government want to encourage this at a time in this hollowing out of our institutions? What got through, for example, if I may cite one, will there be a period of probation, either 1 year or 2 years, in order to provide our institutions, sometimes quite sloppy these days, to discover international crooks of the Alvaro type? Are we going to have probation period? Already, there is an uproar in the expatriate community. Those who have been here for years and who have had a clean track record and who have gone through the real parcours de combattant to either obtain or are still waiting for a passport are worried that those who may not be as credible as them will come forward with their perhaps illicit money, millions of dollars, and will become Mauritian citizens before them. There is this fear out there. For expatriates who have come here and work honestly and contributing to the economy. But the fundamental question is, was this controversial measure ever part of the government's manifesto or the government program to sell nationality to the highest bidders, whatever their source of their cash? Was that part of the program? Cash for passport, that is what I call it. Another great scandal in the making. It is bad enough selling jobs to your family or buying back redundant medical facilities at enhanced prices from your family members. Now we have the country being sold down the drain to any Tom, Dick, or Harry from abroad. The price this government will pay for this will be registered soon enough in the next election. The sooner, the better for us all. Does this scheme send a positive message out there to the international community? Are we not saying that just like the Caribbean islands, that our country is in recession, and now we are left with this in order to remain afloat, meaning cash for passport. Now, in December 2017, we found ourselves on the grey list of the European Union as a fiscal paradise, and that we've been given 2 years to redress the situation. If not, we will be in the blacklist. I fear that we will end up on the blacklist, which will yet be another nail in this government's coffin, or to adapt to the current football jargon, yet another own goal. Has this government no shame? Deputy Speaker, sir, I now move to energy, since you are waiting for it, and the utility sector, where there are some issues to be addressed. First thing first. And this is the volte-face the government has given itself at paragraph 232 on the decision to reduce the price of mogas by ₹2.35 per litre by half the amount of ₹4.70 it was subjected to about a month ago, with half the increase. And in the same breath, to reduce the price of diesel by ₹1.90 per litre, again, exactly half the amount of ₹3.80 it was subject to about a month ago. Now, it appears that the Minister of Finance has played King Solomon between the Ministry of Commerce and the population, in the sense that he has exactly halved the increase in price of both these commodities. In the face of the backlash the government has received from the population, when they have learned that the Mauritian population was paying one of the highest prices of fuel in the world, notwithstanding declining price of the barrel. Even after King Solomon has halved the increase, I believe that the population would want to know why is it that the revised price is still very high when compared to countries like Madagascar, our neighbor, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, China, and Malaysia, where there the population is paying 17 rupees per litre of mogas, as opposed to nearly 50 rupees in Mauritius. So the amateurism we have witnessed last Thursday is but one example of how the affairs of the country are being mismanaged the haphazard way. Never seen before in Mauritius, which has become like a country that is being run from hand to mouth. And when foreign direct investment is on the decline, there is no need to go very far to understand why, Deputy Speaker, sir. Which foreign investor is going to invest in a country which is incapable of seeing beyond its nose? Deputy Speaker, sir, with this volte-face on the petroleum price and with what has happened in the Betamax case, which some months only after last year's budget obtained a provisional ruling which looks like it's going to cost the taxpayers and consumers more than 5 billion rupees. That means about 4,000 rupees for every man, woman, and child of this country, and for which we have not heard a single word in the budget speech. I wonder what the Minister Mentor would say. We all recall that when Sir Anirudh Jagannath was Prime Minister in the past, he used to say, "Si n'est que moi, longtemps il n'est plus ministre." Heads must roll, Deputy Speaker, sir. Now, let me come to the second perfidy, and this one is the slyly concealed paragraph 32 of the budget speech that deals with the cane industry, or more specifically, about a ministerial committee that has as task to assess the situation and to come up with appropriate rescue plan for the industry. Deputy Speaker, sir, the recommendations have been made in the Joint Technical Committee report that was leaked in the press at the beginning of this month. The Joint Technical Committee, which met for more than 25 times, I'm given to understand, was supposed to guide this budget, and now its report has been buried, and the government will have to start all over again with a new ministerial committee. This whole mess-up reveals again the sheer incompetence of this government. First, the Ministry of Agro-Industry did not ensure that it was appropriately represented on this committee, which begs the question, is there a reason for this? Second, the Joint Technical Committee report, through its recommendation, wants to go after the poor workers. Third, no one has realized that no progress can be made without joint action agreed by planters and workers. It seems that the lone voice of the Mauritius Labour Party, through the voice of its leader, Dr. Ramgoolam, has brought this to light in his press conference. So as the sugar industry goes down the drain with this government, precious time is being lost, and now the planters and the cane industry workers have become totally disillusioned and will have to wait longer. If you have seen the papers of this morning, l'Express, this is the title. Il attendait des mesures de relance dans leur secteur dans le budget 2018-2019, mais les planteurs de canne, qui sont aussi propriétaires terriens, sont restés sur leur faim. Ils prédisent un avenir sombre pour la production cannière à Maurice. L'Express of this morning. Now, well, I hope, no doubt, their voice will be heard loud and clear at the next election. Now, the third act of perfidy by this government, Deputy Speaker, sir, I want to address is found at paragraph 160 and has to do with the decision not to increase the water tariff amidst continual advice from the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Public Utilities. Now, in this litany of broken policies, Deputy Speaker, sir, may I turn to the proposed installation. I've talked enough about this in the press, about water tariff. I will perhaps go over it. I'll go to the proposed installation of a combined cycle gas turbine of 120 megawatts at Fort George. Not a single word in the budget speech on this project, save for a few lines in the 3-year strategic plan for this project that is estimated to cost 8.2 billion rupees and for which the CEB is expected to disburse 2.3 billion rupees in this financial year. This project is supposed to change the energy landscape of Mauritius. To simplify a complex technical program, if I may, Deputy Speaker, sir, the CEB will start with an open cycle gas turbine. The heat that is generated from the exhaust gases is a form of energy, and which can be used to produce more electricity in a steam turbine through the combined cycle gas turbine. This logically increases the overall thermal efficiency of the plant because the heat that would have otherwise been wasted away can now be used, and the gain is, obviously, a lower unit cost of electricity production. Not a single word in the budget about the strategic orientation of the energy sector. At a time, there are 3 of the existing power purchase agreements of the independent power producers are on the verge of expiry. I have in mind here Fuel, Consolidated Energy Limited, and Terragen. At a time we are forecasting the critical year for shortage of electricity supply to be 2021, 3 years away from now, this government will hopefully, I hope, not be here anymore. So the Deputy Speaker, sir, can I request the Honourable Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Publicities to provide some clarity on this project in his speech, please? More specifically on the following questions. First, will there be power purchase agreement extensions? Or are we to believe that what the Honourable Jahangir has said yesterday, he was full of praise for you yesterday, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, for the first time. Well, he was full of praise for everybody in the House. Well, he said that there is an excess of supply electricity in the country now. So, this is what you said last night. Yeah. Yes, okay, thank you. Secondly, will we have a combined cycle gas turbine at Fort George, or is CEB going to stay on the open gas cycle turbine mode with a probable unit cost exceeding 10 rupees per kilowatt hour? Third, if we are going for a combined cycle gas production, what will be the certainty of supply of constant, reliable, and affordable liquefied natural gas in Mauritius? Fourth, will the government provide the critical mass to attract lessors for FRSU, meaning floating storage and regasifying unit for liquid natural gas, or will CEB endeavour to build its own LNG terminal, which will undeniably cost the economy another few billions of rupees? The Worley-Paulson report, we've had the chance to discuss about this in the House, of 2014, stated that this is not feasible because of the unavailability of critical mass, but with a caveat that it might become feasible someday if everybody in the country start using their cars and public transportation that will provide a critical mass for this to become feasible here in Mauritius. But at this moment, we are going for mass transportation with the metro project of the Mauritius Labour Party. You said so yesterday, Honourable Jahangir. Honourable Jahangir said the following last night for the Metro Express project. I agree, he, meaning the Honourable Buddha, took the project of the previous government. So, but the metro will work if we have the adequate policy to entice people to use it. That means to leave their cars at home and to travel by the metro. So this is a real catch-22. Why? There is no such measure in this budget to move the country to sustainable transportation mode, I fear. May I suggest that the government just come forward and tell us how is it that tomorrow when the metro start running, people will be encouraged to use the metro and not their cars as this is at the moment. Yeah. Still one question on the electricity sector. We need to have an answer to the simple question of what is the price we are going to pay for our electricity in the future. In the face of dwindling, profits are going down with the CB. Only this morning we learned that there is a reduction in profit of 1 billion rupees. Now, with all the projects and the uncertainty about which mode the gas turbine is going to operate, can we know what is the price of electricity that we're going to pay going forward? Now, I will now very rapidly address some issues that have particularly struck me as being fishy during the budget presentation, and the first one is the Safe City project. I must repeat, like I did in the press, that in the Safe City project, things are being done on the slide, deliberately avoiding giving information. There are issues on this project insofar as the guarantee that the government has provided to Mauritius Telecom for the loan it has contracted from the Exim Bank of China. Mauritius Telecom is a private company. There are issues related to the procurement process followed, the choice of the contractor, Huawei, the confidentiality and security of information, and the sum of 15 billion rupees, mind you, 15 billion rupees in the next 20 years that this project will cost the Mauritian taxpayers, and for which not a single word has been mentioned in this budget. Not a single word. Sir Anirudh Jagannath replied to the question, Honorable Ramano's question, 15 billion rupees. I've taken the pain to calculate. So, not a single word. Social housing. Now, it's good to build social houses. Social houses at paragraph 189 and 90, for which the government has committed 12.7 billion rupees for the construction of 6,800 dwelling units on ground plus 3 configuration on 19 sites across the island. This is where the issue is. Deputy Speaker, sir, I was former managing director of the NSGC. I would like to ask the Honorable Minister of Housing and then whether he has been able to resolve the timeless problem of SERGIC, which is perpetually a problem. Because if you don't have SERGIC, no one maintains the flats. You need SERGIC. No, I'll come to that. I've heard the figure you've mentioned, 15 million rupees. But then, Deputy Speaker, sir, let this be clear because I have to say what I have to say. If we build flats and the SERGIC doesn't work, what will happen is the government throughout the years will have to pay for the SERGIC fees for them. We've just heard 15 million rupees. And not only that, rehabilitation works and maintenance work of this building that has cost several governments over the years hundreds of billions of rupees each time. So are we making the right decision, Honorable Minister, to go for flats again? Please think about this, because maybe tomorrow your government is not going to be here. We'll have to, for sure.
Order.
We will have to handle this case. Please think about this. This is going to be a big mistake.
Order.
Now, why are you looking at, why? Think about it. Think about it, yeah. Now, free trade agreement with China. Our import from China, Deputy Speaker, sir, our import from China by far exceeds our exports to this country. If we were to compare the import from China, if we were, he wants to catch the attention of the media. That's what he always does. It's like comparing an elephant to a mouse. How is it that the free trade agreement that is currently being negotiated with China, as per paragraph 84 of the budget speech, going to bring about the condition for the growth of our export sector? How is that going to happen? Are we not, is this not are we not going the exact contrary here? Although the availability of markets will be there, can we beat China? If I may rest my case with the example of the shoe business, a local industry that has long been protected, does the government want Chinese goods, shoes, to flood the market with dumping of products? Because if we go for free trade argument, we will never be able to beat China on prices. Now, Deputy Speaker, sir, there is one... Yes. Now, the project of tablets have been mentioned again. A very fishy tale indeed. Deputy Speaker, sir, I've had the chance to ask questions on the tablet project. And we've heard that millions of rupees have been paid. There were supposed to be court cases to recover 20 million rupees. But then we've never received a single tablet. Am I right? We've never received a single tablet. And the court case, we don't know whether it still stands good or not, because the director of DCL, Mr. Ramalingam, has gone onto the radio saying, listen to me please, that the Ministry of Education has withdrawn the case. So this smells very fishy. Smells very fishy, Deputy Speaker, sir. Millions of rupees. Students have waited for their tablets, never to be obtained. Government paid 20 million rupees. Director of Audits vehemently criticizing this project. And then the court case has been removed. And now we are going for tablets again? Yeah. So this is a very, the project for tablets.
She's interrupting.
Yeah. She is from a single. The
Honorable members, order please.
Now, we have white elephants in school now. We have Wi-Fi, which we paid through our noses, with no tablets. Now we are going for primary school. Do we have Wi-Fi in primary school, or we will need to invest for Wi-Fi again now in primary school? Okay. But please be careful. Now, Deputy Speaker, sir, yet again, Deputy Speaker, sir, again looking at the press. Deputy Speaker, sir, yet again.
Honorable Sevak Singh.
Deputy Speaker, sir, with the very fishy tail.
Order.
With the very fishy tail of the tablets, I would now like to conclude. Deputy Speaker, sir, yet again in this budget, the Minister of Finance has presented a highly decorated Christmas tree of goodies. To catch the votes, he fears he will be losing. But government is based on trust. And this government has lost all the trust it ever had since it began, breaking every promise of cleaning the stables in its manifesto and filling so many well-paid posts with family members and members of La Cuisine. The government, but government is based. Government is based on trust, and this government has lost all the trust it has ever had since it began breaking every promise of cleaning the stables in its manifesto and filling so many well-paid posts with family members and members of La Cuisine. It has a dire record of failing to implement. It has a dire record. It has a dire record of failing to implement even half of its budget promises. There it is. Since the election. Can we ever trust this government again? The people are angry. They no longer will trust this government, offering so blatant electoral bribes. They can no longer trust a government bearing such foul gifts. This government is way past its sell-by date and should be sent packing. This budget is an eyewash of the first order. I thank you for your attention.